Hello and welcome to a very special 150th episode of Levels Plus Whenever, happening on the 24th anniversary of Levels Plus as an enterprise. Woo! It's very exciting. It's also Flavia's birthday today. With all of that in mind, I wanted to do something that's been on the back burner for a while, and that is my favorite box arts for video games. And to be clear, this is only for console and handheld games. I think I'll do a separate one for arcade, because flyers and marquees and all that just have a different vibe, and I think that might be fun to do as a separate video at a different point. But for now, let's go ahead and jump into the main event, because I don't have any pickups as of right now. And this is a very appropriate episode with box arts being the focus, because that's had such a legacy on my sites over the years. I've done comparisons, I think I called it artistic discussion or something like that, where I talked about box arts that I thought were well executed and ones that I thought were not. I've had a listing of box arts on my site. I did a Sew This webcomic thing entirely on box arts for a forum, and those comics are existent on my old art site still, as well as an upcoming project. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through 100 box arts that I know I like, because I can't go through every single box art that exists. I don't have that type of brain to sit for days to look at every single one. Picked 100. We're going to go through them. I'm just going to let it sit for like 5 seconds. I'll say the title and then we'll move on. And then we're going to start ranking them. So, Bard's Tale, Guarded Gaiden, Dragon Quest IV Famicom, Final Fantasy Famicom, Gimmick Famicom, Bionic Commando American, Battletoads American, Gradius American, Life Force American, Castlevania American, Kirby's Adventure American, Rockin' Cats American, Zoda's Revenge Star Tropics 2 American. Moving on to Game Boy, Super Mario Land 2 Japanese. Moving on to the Genesis, we have Arrow Flash Mega Drive, Alyssa Dragoon Mega Drive, Battlemania Mega Drive, Burning Force Mega Drive. I think this is the PAL version. Thunder Force 3. This is the American version. Moving on to the TurboGrafx 16. Ease Book 1 and 2. And this is the American version. Genka. I always forget the name of this. Denki Setsu Sapphire? I'm sorry, I will put it in words for this particular one, because I can never remember what it's all called. But that is Japanese. Super Nintendo now. Dragon Quest V Japanese. Dracula XX. This is the Japanese version. Final Fantasy VI Japanese. The Ninja Warriors again, Japanese. Prince of Persia, Japanese. Super Metroid, Japanese. This is Pocky and Rocky's original Super Famicom version. So this is Kiki Kakai extension. I don't remember. I'll put the words down below. This is obviously the Japanese one. This is Seiken Densetsu 2 and Japanese version. Terranigma, this is the PAL box art. Moving on to the Saturn with Panzer Dragoon's Japanese box art. PlayStation, Symphony of the Night Japanese. Darius Gaiden Japanese. Rockman 3 Complete Works Japanese. Rockman 5 Complete Works Japanese. Wild Arms Japanese. I really wish I could find a cover of this that was not like saturated to hell, but alas. Azure Dreams American. Final Fantasy Tactics American. Suikoden 2 American. N64 Ogre Battle 64 Japanese. Banjo-Kazooie American. Perfect Dark American. PlayStation 2 Gitaru Man, this is the Japanese version. Katamari Damacy, this is the Japanese version. Persona 4, this is the Japanese version. I just like the logo a little bit better on this one. They're almost identical. Castlevania Lament of Innocence, this is the American version. Dragon Quest 8 American version. Fatal Fury Battle Archives Volume 1 American version. Kingdom Hearts American version. I probably just surprised you by including a Kingdom Hearts thing, but I just think this is a very well executed cover art. King of Fighters 11 American. Silent Hill 3 American. Dreamcast Eternal Arcadia Japanese. Gunbird 2 Japanese. Marvel vs. Capcom Clash of Superheroes Japanese. Power Stone 2 Japanese. Game Boy Advance Breath of Fire 2 in this case. This is the Japanese box art, and here's Breath of Fire 1. I have better versions of these in a smaller format. It's unfortunate I couldn't find better quality ones at a bigger size. Super Ghouls and Ghosts for the Game Boy Advance Japanese. Castlevania Aria of Sorrow American. Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance American. Fire Emblem American. Final Fantasy IV Advance American and Final Fantasy VI Advance American. Metroid Zero Mission American. GameCube Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. This is the American version. Pikmin 2 American. Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventures American. Hard to believe, I think that's the first Zelda we've had. Castlevania Order of Ecclesia for the DS. Moving onwards. This is American. Ghost Trick. American. Lufia Curse of the Sinistrals. American. Under the Wii. Fragile Dreams. American. Shiren the Wanderer. American. Sin and Punishment Star Successor. American. The Last Story. American. PS3. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. American. PSP. Jean d'Arc. This is American. Tactics Ogre, Let Us Cling Together. American. Gravity Rush for the Vita. American. 3DS. Cave Story 3D. American. Well, actually, that's Japanese. Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia. American. Fire Emblem Awakening. American. Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. American. This is a very random PC cover for XCOM 2. But I love this box art. PS4 Odin Sphere Lamp-Brasir, I think is how you pronounce that. American. And then for the Switch, another Code Recollection American. Celeste American. This is specifically the fan gamer version. A Collection of Mana American. Grease American. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics American. Neva American. Ninja Saviors Return of the Warriors American. Pocky and Rocky Reshrined American. River City Girls American. Sakuna of Rice and Ruin American. Star Ocean The Second Story R American. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate American. Untitled Goose Game American. Unicorn Overlord American. Legends of Breath of the Wild American. And then for the PS5, we have Resident Evil 4 American, and that is it. So, that is a lot of box arts, and now we have to rank them. Okay. I decided, instead of forcing you to watch me cut everything, because that was like a good 15 minutes probably, we're going to just jump in and I'll show you what the top 50 is. So, Guarded Gaiden, Dragon Quest IV, Gradius, Castlevania, Alyssa Dragoon, Battlemania, Ys Books 1 and 2, Dragon Quest V, Dracula XX, Prince of Persia, Super Metroid, Seiken Densetsu 2, Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, Darius Gaiden, Rockman 3 Complete Works, Azure Dreams, Final Fantasy Tactics, Ogre Battle 64, Perfect Dark, King of Fighters 11, Eternal Arcadia, Mars' Capcom, Breath of Fire 2, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, Fire Emblem, Final Fantasy IV Advance, Final Fantasy VI Advance, Metroid Zero Mission, Pikmin 2, Castlevania Order of Ecclesia, Lufia Curse of the Sinistral, Shiren the Wanderer, Sin and Punishment Star Successor, The Last Story, Ultima vs. Capcom 3, Tactics Ogre, Let's Cling Together, Gravity Rush, Cave Story 3D, Fire Emblem Echoes, XCOM 2, Another Code Recollection, Celeste, Collection of Mana, Grease, Mars' Capcom Party Collection Arcade Classics, Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, Smash Ultimate Overlord, Unicorn Overlord, and Zelda Breath of the Wild. Gotta get 25. And that's gonna be tough, because we are truly in some of my absolute favorite box arts ever. Guarded Gaiden is staying. That is without question. If I'm going to be keeping a Dragon Quest of the two that are left, I think 5's better. So 4 is getting cut. I think Gradius is great, but I don't think it's top 25 for me. Castlevania is. Alyssa Dragoon is. This could be. So it's going to stay for now. I really like this box art a ton. Ys, really beautiful artwork. I just don't think it's going to stick around for the top 25. I think this one will. I think Dragon Quest V is my favorite Dragon Quest box art. It just really captures the essence of that game so well. Dracula XX is not going to make it. I think it's a really good piece. It's just not my favorite. Prince of Persia, let's talk about this a little bit. I think this is a superb piece, and it used to be like a top 10 for me. But there is a very unfortunate, and I don't think it's intentional, subtle racism happening here. We have the prince here cloaked in white, and the princess also white, and then we have this antagonistic woman with darker skin, and then we have the vizier here with really dark skin, and then we have this six-armed character with dark skin. It's an unfortunate thing that we have basically whitewashed the Prince of Persia, which in some ways so did Jordan Mechner, but we're going to cut this because I feel a little uncomfortable keeping it higher than top 50 at this stage of my life. Super Metroid can stay, as can Seiken Densetsu 2. I think Symphony of the Night and Aria are going to both stay. Some of my favorite Castlevania art. I really like this art. I don't think it's top 25 though. I think it's like top 30 maybe, but not quite making it all the way. Same with Rock Band 3. As much as I love Proto Man's framing in this and Mega Man being so front and center with Rush, it really captures what the introductions to Mega Man 3 were. If he was sliding, it might be different, but I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I love the framework of this piece. I really wish this little guy wasn't here. That little guy is kind of ruining the mood of this entire piece for me, to the point that I think I'm just going to go ahead and cut it because I don't like it. I think that little guy ruined the piece. Tactics can stay. I think this is going to be a possible 25. As is Ogre Battle. As is Perfect Dark. As is King of Fighters 11. As is Eternal Arcadia. As is Mars' Capcom. I'm going to cut Breath of Fire 1 because of framing. Blue is up here, or Dice. I forget exactly what her name is in America. It's one or the other. But she's like blocked by the logo, and her face is cut off. So it's kind of like boobs. Which is a shame because this box art is gorgeous when you pull it all the way out. Plus you get, like, there's characters down here that are hiding. So we're gonna cut 1 for framing. 2, I think, does a better job of framing things because Nina's prominent. You can see most of the rest of the cast clearly. It doesn't look like anyone else got cut off. They are, but you don't see it. This is a better piece. I wish I had a better version of it to have displayed, but it is what it is. Aria of Sorrow is staying. Fire Emblem is staying. Both of these are in contention. I think both of these are just some of my favorite mono art ever. And then Zero Mission's also staying. Pikmin 2, I'm going to cut. Order of Ecclesia, I really like this one too. I'm going to have to think about that. Lufia got into the top 50. I think that's a good place for it. Sheeran is real close to being in the top 25, but I just haven't played the game. This did not make me go and buy this. Or be interested in it. And I think that's just, unfortunately, how that's going to fall. This is top 25, contender, top 25, top 25. I'm cutting this because of Nicalis. I like this box art a lot. I just don't think it's going to be hanging in the top 25. XCOM 2 is, another code is. Celeste probably should. Collection of Mana, maybe. Grease, definitely. I think this is a strong contender. Sukuna's a strong contender. Okay, so we've got through round 1. Let's go back to the top. Battlemania, I love this box art, but I do think it needs to be cut. It kind of kills me to do it. We're at the it's gonna kill me to do it phase. Tactics, I'm gonna cut. I think that it is an exquisite piece, but I just see it, and I see the renders being from 1998. Which, like, with Perfect Dark, I don't see that for comparison. Man, this is getting tough. Getting real tough. Real tough. Because I've got 9 more to cut. I'm cutting Smash Ultimate only because there's a version of this art that's got the third-party characters, even more stuff happening that is better. I think the Unicorn Overlord did a fantastic job of taking the huge art piece for this and getting it to all for more or less fit here. Sukuna's great. Zelda's great. I love this box art a lot, but I do think I have to cut it because I think Ultimate Marvel 3 is my definitive Marvel vs. Capcom piece. This art's really fun, but I do think that it doesn't quite match the high standard that Hiro Isiao, I think is his name, did on the Seiken Densetsu 2 box art. Order of Ecclesia I love, but it is not Kojima. Kojima really is Castlevania to me. I'm going to cut 6. Because I think 4 is the better executed piece of art. I really just like this particular sketch of Terra a lot. But I do think it is a bias towards actually playing like 2/3 of that game. Ogre Battle 64, I really like. But I don't think it's as strong as some of the other pieces. And Perfect Dark, I think, is in the same boat. I really like this art, but it is not as strong as some of these other pieces. Last story, I think it's kind of in the same place. I love this art, but there's so much more to it that you just don't see. Like, the actual special edition box is gorgeous. This is just the standard, and it's beautiful, but it is not as good as it could have been. And that's kind of where I have to put my headspace with these last couple cuts I'm making. I think out of these, as much as it kind of pains me to do it, it's Aria, because this is a great piece of art. I love this art. If it's panned out a bit, you get a lot more of the really cool, like, dragon soul stuff going on. And there's also another great piece of art with more of the cast. It's really good, but I also feel like the logo is too big. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. That really hurt. That hurt me a lot. That was like soul damaging. Oof. Pain. Top 25. We have it. We gotta get these ranked in an order. So I'm gonna go ahead and I think grab what I feel are top 10 and just kind of put them up here first, because that's going to help, I think. These two are top 10 for me. I think Alyssa Dragoon is also top 10, because the more I look at this piece, the more stunned I am by it. I think Super Metroid is in the running. I do think that one for sure, Seiken Densetsu, is. This Marvel vs. Capcom art, I love this art so much that it's in consideration. The Breath of Fire 2 art, for sure, is in consideration. This Tactics Ogre piece, I really love that. That's going to be thought about a lot. Grease, for sure. Another Code, for sure. I'm still really struck by XCOM 2. I don't think it's quite going to make it into the top 10 in the end, but it's really just evocative. And then Sin and Punishment. I think those are the ones in consideration here for the top 10. So now that I've kind of sorted that out, what is 25? Out of these lovely pieces that I've narrowed down, my brain right now is old modem noise. I'm gonna put Final Fantasy IV at 25. I really like this piece. It's very evocative. I like Amano's art style a lot. Great use of color. I think that's where it goes. I'm going to put Celeste, I think, at 24. Excellently drawn piece. Really excellent use of all of these supporting pieces of her journey. The logo is not taking up too much space. Just a great piece. Fire Emblem, I think, will be 23. And that's primarily because I feel like this piece, I've seen it with a little bit different framing. It's like, I think it needed to be zoomed out just a little bit more. And the logo is a little bit too big with the big old weapons kind of taking up a lot of space. Maybe if the logo was down here and this was scooted up, I might feel a little bit differently. But I feel like this is a good spot for that. I think we'll put King of Fighters 11 next. This is a really great piece. It's got such excellent use of color. Utilizing the flames from Kyo and Iori and Ash super well, highlighting the new characters. It's really good. It's a really good piece. And rounding out the bottom 5, I think Gravity Rush is our 21st game. I really like this piece, but again, the logo is huge. And I feel like the logo, while it's not really blocking anything, it's a little bit distracting because it kind of draws your eyes to it instead of cat standing sideways. But I do like the color choice of it being kind of green. It's a really nice cover. I really like it. From there, I feel like Dragon Quest V is going to be number 20. I do wish that this took up a little bit more space on the box, the piece, a little bit bigger, and the logo was up a little bit higher. I realize that they want the logos to be big on the box art because they're trying to sell you a game, but this is box art, and I want the art to be more prominent. But I do think it's a lovely piece, and it's one of my favorite Toriyama artworks, too. So it's nice that he was able to be included on this list. Next, I think Zelda's kind of where I want it. I think it's a great box art that really captures the essence of Breath of the Wild. But again, I wish that it was zoomed out a little bit more, because it's a little bit too close on the Link. I know for posing reasons why they did that, because it works great with the logo being hidden in the rock. But I think if it was zoomed out a little bit more, you get to see even more of this, of the landscape, and really just sink in. Like, you could go wander around all of that. Unicorn Orbiter is probably where it should be. I think this is a great spot for it. It's a little busy with all the characters, but it's also really well drawn. And you can, like, pretty much the majority of the playable cast is here. And it's just gorgeous. It's a gorgeous piece of art. I'm going to put Marvel 3 next. I think this is one of Shinkiro's best works, but it is not my favorite of his, even in this game. It's a good choice for a box art because it had room to shove the cup or the logo up at the top and not really block anybody. But at the same time, he did so much art for this game that I think is truly stunning. That has more of the roster than this, but I don't think it would have worked as well. So I think this was a good choice in the end. Plus, it really emphasizes Strider, which is really nice. Next up, I think we're going to put... No, I think that needs to be higher. I think Metroid Zero Mission is next. Again, I've seen the full art of this, and what they did to compress it to fit a Game Boy Advance box is great. But I do think that the full art of Ridley being more behind the explosion is better. But this is my favorite box art of Metroid outside of Super. And is just a really great piece all the way around. Eternal Arcadia will be next. I think that the framing of this is excellent, and the sky being emphasized in the bottom right corner is great. Get a map in the top left, which I think is also great. The three main characters are front and center. The logo's out of the way, not really blocking them. It's a really great piece, and then having the Blue Rogues flag in the background, it's really good. It's really good. I think that it could be even better because I have practically every piece of Eternal Arcadia art, and there's some other ones that I think are even better choices than this one. I think Aika's neck is just a tiny bit awkward, but in the grand scheme of things, I do love this one a lot, and it's right where it should be. XCOM, I think we'll go here in the end. It is a very evocative piece. It's a very strong piece. but I don't think artistically it's as strong as everything that's above it. Sukuna is probably where it needs to be. I really like this box art, but it's not quite top 10. It's close, but not quite. So we're going to grab Super Metroid, and we're going to pull it down, and we're going to put that at number 12. I think it's a fantastic piece of box art. I really do, and it is my favorite Metroid box art. Captures Samus really well. It frames the art extremely nicely. It's just great, but I've seen the full poster of this. And unfortunately, that has given me a bias that I would love to see more of this art than I currently do. So, I am going to slide Tactics Ogre here at number 12. Again, I really love the framing of the characters in this circle. I think it really captures the essence of Ogre in a really nice way. I think the biggest problem that I ultimately have with it is that these three women all look the same. And I think that's just a thing that Yoshida does with his faces, is they kind of all have similar faces. But like, I feel like all of the women have the same face for the most part. So it does kind of make me feel like I'm just looking at the same person over and over again wearing different outfits. So, just missed the top 10. Alright, so now that we're in the top 10, we gotta get this all sorted out. I think I'm gonna have Symphony stay at 10. Kojima's art is really great for Symphony of the Night, and this is probably the best piece that she did for that game. In terms of just a full shot, it's really evocative, really lovely. Great game too. Sin and Punishment I'm going to put at number 9. Only because there's other pieces of box art, or art for this game that I love more than this one. This is a great box art example, but there's just a couple other ones that I'm like, man, I wonder if they went with that, if that would have been more easy to parse, because that is one thing about Suzuki's art style, is that it is just wild to try to look at and figure it out. It's one of those things you have to look at for a while to really get it. I'm glad they went with this piece in the end, because I think it's really good, but I do wonder. I just have to wonder. Mars vs. Capcom original can be number 8. This is such a good piece of art. I really do love this art. I think this was Bengus that did this one. Just really good. Just a really good piece all the way around. The only thing that would make it better is if it was zoomed out even a little bit more. And again, that's just... They did a good job with having it be focused on the main playable cast, because I think they're all there. Captain Commando kinda got cut off. But the rest, I think, are all visible. But it's a great piece. It's really good. Castlevania 1, I think, can be number 7. This is just a great piece of art for 1987, 86 even. It's a great piece of art. It's got great color. It's got great framing. Sure, the posing is ripping off some things. This is just a great piece of art all the way around. I love this art. And the silver box treatment with the logo, classy as hell. So good. Easily the best piece of NES box art for me. I said NES. Note. Grease, I think I'm going to leave here at 6. Because it's really evocative of the game. It's gorgeous. It's so well drawn and then watercolored. It is beautiful. I feel that Another Code does the same thing slightly better, so it's going to be number 5 because it adds a little bit more context with these photos. It's hard to see on this version of the box art, but they're there. I think that is just really good, and they're both kind of doing the same thing, but they're both top of the line face illustrations, capturing sadness in their own ways gorgeously. I love both of these pieces so much. I think they need to be right next to each other. I think Breath of Fire 2 is going to be a little above Alyssa Dragoon. This is such a great piece of box art. It really is. I think the thing that is knocking it from the top 3 is the screenshot in the corner. I think that is the one thing that is keeping it from being higher. Because everything else about this piece is so good. Like, blowing me away every time I'm looking at it good. But I do think Breath of Fire 2, with its excellent use of color, the way Nina just pops, the way everything's framed, the logo could be smaller. I feel like the logo's a little bit gaudy, but it's just like everything else just slots in so perfectly, and they're drawn so well. Man, this is such a great box art. It makes me wish that the game localization was better than it is, because I want to play this game with these characters. Saika Densetsu 2 is number 2. This is incredible. This is like, this set such a high standard that so few other companies ever had with their box arts. It is something you would want to frame on your wall on your own. Without the game context, it is gorgeous. Gorgeous. Hiro, is it Hiro? Isho, I think is his name. What a legend. What a legendary artist. The Trials of Mana box art's also really good, but it didn't quite make it into my top 100. But just like the level of detail on this tree is astounding. But I still have to give it to Garda Gaiden for the number 1 spot. This piece just is so evocative and so detailed and uses the space extremely well with the logo. It really just captures your attention. Irem was the one who ultimately published this in Japan and just did a great job of putting it together. A great piece of art, which I'll get the artist's name down below, so because it needs to be said, and I don't remember off the top of my head. And just really framed it really well with the logo. And it's just like, this makes me want to know more about this game. And again, this is something I would love to have framed on my wall because it is a gorgeous piece of art. And thankfully, I have a poster version of it that doesn't have the logo that I might actually end up printing and framing on my wall. All right, that is my top 25 box arts. This was fun. I think this was a great way to celebrate the 24th anniversary of Levels Plus. Oh man, it's hard to believe that it's going to be 25 next year. I'll have to actually roll out some red carpet or something. I will share what the next 2 episodes of Levels Plus Whenever are going to look like, because I think that it's important to share that I'm going to be doing review episodes for Clair Obscura and Donkey Kong Bonanza for 151 and 152 respectively. Game of the Year contenders, both. And I have opinions on both, so I'm excited to talk about them soon. So stay tuned for those later this month. We'll be taking a little bit of a break, though. Probably not getting back into episodes until late August, primarily because work is going to be super hectic for the next couple weeks, and I'm trying to get a book out. Haha! Yes, I'm working on a new book. That's not been announced yet, unless you're a Patreon member. So, if you are a Patreon member, you can go find out what that new book is right now. Anyway, enough shameless self-promotion. Thank you for joining me on this special episode of Levels Plus Whenever. I hope that you have a wonderful set of days till I see you again. Take care.